Hey, how are we doing, guys? Gray here, and today we are back for week 2 of the P4G against none other than Pokeaim himself, coach of the Los Angeles Wakers. As of right now, he is closing in on 500,000 subs, and yeah, I'm sure me saying to go and sub to him, it will definitely go again. It will get him there. So please do check him out. And also, if you're new to the channel, please do think about leaving a like or subscribing. We're getting super close to 1,000 subs, so any support is greatly appreciated. Now, before the battle, we are going to have a quick team builder to go over why I'm bringing what I'm bringing. But if you want to skip it, I'll leave a timestamp on the screen and in the description below, so you can go ahead and skip straight to the battle if you aren't bothered about that. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Okay, so the team should be up on the screen now, and you can see that we've made some trades for this week. We do have Sinistcha over Torterra, we have Skuntank over Quillfish, Whiscash over Veluza, and we changed Terra Poison to Terra Fairy on Green. The reason for these are Torterra, I felt when I was building, didn't really fit the mold that I wanted, while Sinistcha gave me something that I feel like I really needed in a Ghost type. It gives me, or it keeps the bulky defensive Grass type, without having that 4 times weakness to Ice, which in week 1, it proved that electric types with ice coverage or vice versa were going to be really tricky for me to deal with. So any Terramons, I'm not sure if there is even any electric Terras with ice in this league, but if there was, then it was going to cause me problems all the time. So I went with Sinistcha it instead. Skuntank over Quillfish was a fairly simple one. Quillfish, as much as I liked it, it did really struggle to come to games where I want to bring Psychic Terrain, because it's going to be greatly hampered by that. It's great as a spikes setter, but other than that, didn't really offer too much else to the team, whilst I feel Skuntank gives me a second dark type one that's not 4 times weak to Fairy. In fact, it's not weak to Fairy at all. And it's only got the 1 weakness in Ground, and Ground is not a typing that I'm necessarily all that weak against. On top of that, it does give me the Toxic Spike still, and it gives me knockoff, as well as like a plethora of other things. Like Skuntank's moveset got a massive buff this gen. It's got plenty of utility, plenty of attacking moves, and also still got the setup with Nasty Plot on the special side. Then we dropped Veluza. This is actually only a temporary thing. We are dropping it for weeks 2 and 3, and then picking it back up in week 4. Mainly because people were so hyped to see Veluza. After the draft analysis, I didn't realise how hyped people would be for Veluza. So I kind of just dropped it, and then the draft analysis went up, and I was like, oh shit, people actually want to see this mon. And I did some calcs for the rest of the matchups that I've got, and yeah, Veluza goes crazy, but Whiscash, I felt like I kind of needed to have a ground type, because going into this week 2 game, we did not have a ground type after dropping Torterra, and there's a Regieleki on Joey's team, so having some kind of deterrent, albeit it's a Whiscash, it's not a great deterrent, it's something there. And also Whiscash is kind of the GOAT. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. People who are long-time viewers may remember lead Whiscash picking up 2 kills off rip with Dragon Dance and Terra Flying, which is one of the Terra types you got. The other one being Terra Poison, just because Grass resist. There was not a whole lot else to it outside of that, I'll be honest. It gives me Spikes and Stealth Rock for a couple of weeks, in which that might come in handy. It also looked really nice into my week 3 matchup. So yeah, that is also there. I have actually played my week 3 as well at the time of recording this, so it's no spoiler that Whiscash has a decent matchup. And then the Terra on Green, I wanted to try something different with Terra Poison. Week 1, really wish I had Terra Fairy. Week 2, I looked at it, I was like, you know what, Fairy is probably not that bad again. Looked at the rest of the matchups, Fairy is much better than Poison. Who'd have thought? That's going to be the trades for this week. Let me know what you think of those down below. Did I make a mistake dropping Torterra? Most likely. There's a strong chance that I regret dropping Torterra, mainly because of the ground type thing. Having a decent ground type that is actually threatening would have been really nice, especially in this matchup. If I had looked ahead, maybe I would have waited on Sinistcha, kept Torterra for this week, but you know, it is what it is. Sinistcha's matchups for the rest of the season are actually really good, so there's a strong chance that Sinistcha would get more value than Torterra. But that's enough about the trades. Let's go over the matchup. He has got Heracross, Petrant, Noivern, Incineroar, Rabombi, Inteleon, Registeel, Regieleki, Quagsire, Flapple, and Clorf. Flapple and Clorf being his Terra captains. Flapple, Grass, Dragon, and Fire. Terrifying. Clorf, with Rock, Grass and Fairy. I don't think that Flapple has actually got a particularly good matchup. I've got a few things that are able to at least check it relatively well. I can revenge it pretty easily. So yeah, I don't think Flapple is necessarily the biggest threat. Clorf, on the other hand, actually does look pretty demon against me. Terra Fairy means that I have like 50-50s with a couple of mons on this team. Mostly Scrafty and Hawlucha. My two fighting types do not appreciate a Terra Blast Fairy. Coming off of Clorf's like relatively good attack stat. So yeah, Clorf could be a little bit scary for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if it turned up in this game. Outside of that, I think Registeel doesn't have the greatest matchup. Things like Sinistcha are going to be able to wall it relatively well. The Duraludon also does a pretty good job of being able to prevent it from setting up with Dragon Tail or Roar. And then revenge killing it, we got things like Scrafty, Armarouge, Hawlucha. Granted, it's a little bit more difficult if it is a Iron Defense set, but if it's Iron Defense, then I feel like I've got enough on my team to be able to deal with that. But I think almost everything else on his team could definitely come. My team's Fairy Resists are very few and far between. Yes, we've got a Florges. It can wall Rabombi, but Rabombi can also set up on it relatively freely. Granted, we could also set up in return, and Psyshock. Rabombi still looks really good into us. Heracross looks devastating. Initially, when I looked at the matchup, I was like, yeah, Heracross might not come. I think I've got things like Hawlucha, I've got Armarouge, we Scarf and DD. I have Sinistcha to check it on the physical side. None of them matter. It comes in, it clicks a button, it pretty much picks up a kill. So regardless of that, like a Sinistcha is the only thing that realistically can come in, and I would have to be Cobbleberry to be able to do it with the Heracross. And also Sinistcha's matchup outside of the Heracross is pretty poor. Like, yes, there's Inteleon, but I would want to be physically defensive for Heracross, not especially defensive, and Ice Beam or Air Slash is going to do a ton of damage to me. Pecharunt, we can do some pretty substantial damage too, but we don't really enjoy staying in on it. It will be potentially quicker than us as well. And getting a poison on Sinistcha would suck. And then are we like going Colbur? Are we going Covert Cloak? Like, who knows? Then there's Noivern and Incineroar that just blast it. Even though it checks like Regieleki, it's still going to just get Volt Switched on. Which actually is a thing for my whole team. Regardless, outside of Whiscash, we do not have a switch into Regieleki. Albeit we are defensively okay against it. It does get to Volt pretty freely, bring in Heracross, and Heracross, like I said, is pretty devastating for us. Pecharunt, defensively, really solid. Partners well with Quagsire in this, being able to take those grass moves. And I think we're going to see Incineroar as well. Like, Incineroar is almost a lock to come to this game. Noivern, Incineroar, and Rabombi, I think, are three that are very good and almost definitely coming. I think Heracross is on that list as well. And then I think it's probably Pecharunt and Quagsire. I could see Inteleon for sure. Inteleon blast through my team. Definitely a big threat. The only upside is that we do have things that could be quicker with Scarf, and I don't think you want to go Scarf in this match. He could do with U-turn, but I think he probably would rather just like a Scope Lens set. But I think that's maybe a little inconsistent, albeit when he brought a Scope Lens against me last time, he absolutely rolled me with it. So moving on to our team, first up we have got Armarouge, one of our potential free win cons in this game, with Psychic, Aura Sphere, Calm Mind, Iron Defense, Cobbleberry to be able to take a knockoff from the Incineroar. This set goes crazy against his team, outside of Quagsire, which is honestly one of the mons that I think is a little bit less likely to turn up. There is really nothing that takes on this set once it gets to +2. It could be very problematic for him. And even if it doesn't sweep, it can definitely open up the game for either Hawlucha or Raikou to be able to do that later on. Realistically, all we need is a bit of chip on Incineroar, and also to be able to take it down Inteleon. Like, Inteleon, if it is Scope Lens, will be the biggest downfall for this mon, because we do not have a way of outspeeding it unless we get our weak armor procced. I don't expect that Joey will want to proc it, knowing that if he does, it could be just GG. So yeah, we have got that possibility that we're going to have to maybe play around in Inteleon if it does turn up. If it doesn't, there is really not a lot here that wants to be able to come back in and revenge this. Next up, we have got the week 1 MVP. I say MVP, it was Soul's Dance, it was on the thumbnail. That's an MVP enough for me. We have got Duraludon with Dracometeor, Flash Cannon, Stealth Rock, and Roar. This is just a defensive tank in this game, being able to Draco pretty much everything. If we don't see Rabombi, Draco is incredibly free. Even if we do see Rabombi, I don't think it wants to switch in, because if it switches in and I flash cannon, then it's just gone. It also doesn't want to take rocks, it doesn't want to get roared out. So yeah, Duraludon looks like it's going to be really, really difficult for him to take down, and just honestly getting that bit of chip, be it through getting the correct raw plays or just Draco meteoring, could really open up either Raikou or Hawlucha. His switch-ins do look like it might be Quagsire, possibly Incineroar as well, which would open up Armarouge. You could see like a Spadef Pecharunt as well being the switch-in. Next up, we've got our Hawlucha that is Choice Scarf and Unburden this week. We got to go fast. Close Combat, Brave Bird, Iron Head, and U-Turn. Adamant Nature. Enough speed to outspeed Regieleki that I believe might be creeping Indeedee. I think that was what my intention here was with the speed creep. If it's Scarf itself, then we are a little bit done for. Outside of that, it's just got a pretty decent matchup. He doesn't deal with our fighting types particularly well. Lightness is that Quagsire is going to be a switch in, Pecharunt is going to be a switch in. If I get the right U-turn plays, we can bring in our threats and be able to deal with those two fairly adequately. Like Duraludon switches in so nicely on both of those two, being able to just fire off a Draco, and if Registeel comes to this game, then I'll be shocked. But if it does, that's the only thing that's going to potentially stop Duraludon from being able to do what it wants to do. Able to revenge Heracross, obviously, from full. And then we just got Iron Head for Clorf, because there was that 50-50 that I had to keep making when I saw Clorf as to whether or not it was going to Terra, whether it was not going to Terra, in the very limited mocks that I did. So I just decided to get rid of any kind of 50-50, just click Iron Head on it, and get super effective damage no matter what. I don't think it's going to be Terra Grass in this game. If it is Terra Grass, he doesn't Terra Grass, I don't think, in front of a Hawlucha. Next up, we have got the set of the week. Choice Band Raikou with Supercell Slam, Throat Chop, Extreme Speed, and Trailblaze. This set actually goes crazy. I was looking at matchup and I was like, I could run Specs. Specs is definitely a pretty good bring against this team. But the issue is that it kind of gets shut down by Spadef Quagsire. I just decided, you know what? Priority is really, really nice because we aren't bringing our Psychic Training again this week. So Extreme Speed goes crazy. Adamant, Choice Band, Extreme Speed, 2-hit KOs Heracross, 2-hit KOs Rabombi, 2-hit KOs Inteleon, 2-hit KOs Regieleki. Supercell Slam will do a crap ton to everything. If we don't see Quagsire, it does so much damage to all of his team. And then we just kind of got Throat Chop for Pecharunt, prevents it from parting shot. Trailblaze, of course, is there for the Quagsire. It can also hit the Inteleon, should we need to. It'll hit a Clorf if it's not terrestrialized. And giving us that speed boost could be really, really good. May lead us to outspeed the Inteleon and be able to 2-hit KO it. And it would definitely 2-hit KO Quagsire even if he's physically defensive. If he's specially defensive, we do like 70%. So there's a good chance that Raikou could pop off here. You don't see Choice Band Raikou every day. I'm hoping it does work. Next up we have Assault Vest Skuntank. I had nothing to switch into its special threats. Realistically, I felt Skuntank did the better job of checking things like Rabombi and Inteleon at the same time as being able to deal with things like Pecharunt. It's good against Incineroar, it's pretty good against Noivern, and it will take a hit from the Heracross should I need it to. So all those things combined just meant that Skuntank was probably the best option here. Poison Jab, Throat Chop, Knockoff, and Temper Flare. I went back and forth as to whether I want Sucker Punch over Knockoff on this, or Sucker Punch over Throat Chop even. But again, Throat Chop, if it's a switch into Incineroar, we're able to prevent the parting shot. It also means that his Noivern cannot click Boom Burst, which if he is just like Specs Boom Burst, that could be quite nice for us to be able to kind of work around. But in the end I went with Throat Chop and Knockoff, just because Knockoff was nice utility. Temper Flare is pretty much just there because Poison Jab is fairly spammable against his team. He doesn't really want to switch in the Pecharunt against this. He would switch in Registeel if he brings it. And if we can get Poison Jab into Temper Flare is then doubled in power, and it will do a good amount to Registeel, especially if it's Spadef. So yeah, that's basically Skuntank's role in this game, is just to try and tank a few hits. And then last up, but certainly not least, we have got our Greedent with Facade, Terra Blast, Earthquake, and Curse, holding the Chillan Berry, Bing Chillan. This set actually is pretty good for dealing with Heracross. Facade is on this set because there's a strong chance that I'll have to try and use this as a Pecharunt switch in at some point. And if he gets the Malignant Chain, then at least we've got the Facade to be able to take advantage of that and get good damage off on everything else on his team. However, a fully physically defensive Pecharunt could be a bit annoying because Greedent doesn't do any kind of damage to it. I would have to set up to +3, and if he brings the Quagsire, then, well, you know, I'm still doing no damage to it. Maybe I should bring Seed Bomb. And, of course, Terra Fairy goes crazy against his team. He does not appreciate Fairy types too much at all. Registeel is his only way, really, of dealing with it outside of Petron, and Earthquake hits both, so hopefully Green will be able to put in some work this week. At the very least, it can probably switch in a few times on Petron. It might be able to switch in a few times on things like Noivern or Incineroar. But my initial thought is that Armarouge could end up being the cleaner, or at least it could facilitate like a Raikou Extreme Speed endgame, or potentially even a Hawlucha close combat or Brave Bird endgame. As for his side, I think we're probably going to see Heracross, Noivern, Incineroar, Rabombi, Quagsire and Petron is my guess. Inteleon definitely could come over, maybe Rabombi. On top of that, see Regieleki, because he sees my ground type is the Quagsire. But Regieleki, I don't know why you would bring it over. I guess it could be over to Rabombi as well. That's going to be a team for this week. I hope you're excited for this one. I know I am. And yeah, I'll go ahead, hook up with Joey, and I'll see you guys there. Okay, so here we are for the battle, and he does bring in Inteleon. There's no Rabombi, which is kind of crazy. Does bring the Quagsire, does bring Petron. Those two I thought may come. Does bring the Regieleki as well. Kind of regretting not bringing the Whiscash right now, but you know, it is what it is. No Noivern. Honestly, the three that I thought were definites were Noivern, Rabombi, and Incineroar, and only one of those have come. So yeah, this could get a little bit more interesting. I guess I can use my AV Skuntank a little bit more freely now. It definitely can be used to help with Petron. It can be used to check Inteleon to an extent. Quagsire could be a little bit annoying, especially for my Raikou, which I assume that he's probably going to try and keep it around for that. He may also be just looking to set up all the hazards and try and win late game with like a Scarf Inteleon, or maybe Regieleki fucks me up. I need to keep my Duraludon healthier, I think, for the Regieleki, just because as much as it can pivot out, it can actually pivot out into the Heracross, which is problematic. I don't have a great switch into it. So I think I'm going to have to try and play a little bit quicker with my Armarouge. I think I actually want to lead off Duraludon. As much as I do need to keep it for Regieleki, I think the likeliness is that he's going to lead off with like Inteleon, or maybe even Regieleki itself, because Volt Switch is incredibly free. And this will allow me to get up rocks. Are rocks that important? I think they probably aren't super important. No Rabombi, no Noivern, so yeah, I'd say actually rocks are not the most important thing in the world. But it does help me against a bunch of other things on his team. So yeah, good luck, have fun to Joey. He actually leads off with Incineroar. I think that's fine. You're going to see Intimidate, that's to be expected. Okay. So rocks are very tempting. Let's just have a quick look at what the situation is. I could see Quagsire coming in. I actually really appreciate getting this damage off for Armarouge, and I know in the mock I did. I always got my damage off here, but it has brought... Actually, he hasn't brought Fairy, so Draco is incredibly free. I think he probably even knocks off all parting shots. I could definitely get my rocks up here. Yeah, I'm just going to get up rocks. I'm going to get rocks turn 1. He's not going to hard switch, so I could have got my damage off here, but I'd rather just get my rocks. And he is going to knock. Okay. That does a lot of damage. That brings me down to 253. Is there anything we can get from that? So, looks like it's no investment, actually. Potentially just Spadef. At this point, Draco looks like it's doing a good amount of damage. And it is pretty damn free. So yeah, I'm going to just get my Draco off here. If there's any issues with the graphics, then that's because I've had some issues going into this. He does just parting shot. Okay, so we've got our damage off on Incineroar, we've got our rocks up. I'd say positionally we're not in a bad place, however he does kind of get to click buttons with his Regieleki a little bit more freely, depending on whether that Regieleki is like fast. It could be an issue. Mr. Kid comes in. This is somewhat to be expected, but we did want that little bit of chip. We do see the Flame Orb. Okay. So how do I want to go about this? I definitely could sack my Duraludon here. Definitely a possibility. We are at -2. but the damage would be greatly appreciated, and we can go out into our Greedent afterwards. Do I want to keep this around? I kind of do. This actually has got a pretty good matchup. What has not got such a great matchup? I guess to an extent, Raikou. But Raikou actually for extreme speed later on could be really, really handy. Like the close combat seems like the most likely play. You could also just Facade. I kind of want to keep everything on my team if I possibly can. Let me just have a quick... Okay, well, because I haven't got the volume on, it's really hard for me to check times and stuff. I'm just going to go into Skuntank. This makes me a little bit weaker to his Inteleon, but I think I need to keep, or I want to keep Duraludon around a little bit more. And if he goes for a knockoff here as a mid ground, then this isn't too bad. He just close combats. We should live this. Yeah, just. But we do. However, he will just always outspeed and knock us out here. Trailblaze is not the worst thing in the world. How do I want to revenge this? Brave Bird is actually very free against this team. Very, very free. So I could go Hawlucha afterwards. Click Brave Bird. If he goes into Regieleki, we pivot through maybe Duraludon. Losing this is not ideal. Actually, for the Petron it's pretty bad, but I'll just go for a Temper Flare. There's no way we outspeed this, so he does Trailblaze. Okay. So that does give us a nice bit of chip. Really nice bit of chip, actually. -1, I don't think a close combat will do enough from Hawlucha. But I'm willing to check, just in case. Actually, a close combat could do enough. But what would definitely do enough would be Raikou. This would give away I'm Scarf, but I think I'd rather give away that I'm Scarf than give away that I am any of my other sets. So yeah, I'm gonna just go for this. Close combat would knock you out from this range. This gives away I'm Scarfed if he decides to stay in at this point. There's a bunch of things that I could see coming in, but this thing is more of a threat, so I will just click the Brave Bird and get my damage on whatever wants to come in. We do have Victor Black is the Petulant, so it's going to take rocks, and we can pivot out through Duraludon because his Heracross is constantly taking damage. And this is Black Sludge. Good to know. So yeah, I'm going to just pivot out through Duraludon. And what do I need to get Armarouge in on? Probably this. If I can get a free switch into Armarouge on this, then we're in a pretty good spot. If I can get my Raikou in, what do I want Raikou in on? Well, actually, Heracross is probably in range of extreme speed. So I want this thing weakened or dead. Parting Shot seems incredibly likely here. But he may also just go for like a Shadow Ball or something. Nightshade, that's fine. That's going to put me down to 153, of course. There's no other amount it will put me down to. And we can just click Draco here. I can Draco or I can Roar. But I think Draco is just generally better. So yeah, I'll go for a Draco. He may be faster, he's not faster. Okay, well we get some good damage off on this. He probably recovers. Yeah. And I think he's going to Parting Shot, so I'm just going to roll. I just Nightshades again. Okay. I guess that also makes a lot of sense. Losing so much health on Duraludon, not ideal. Just don't show me the Heracross. Actually, if Heracross comes in now, I just sack. It's going to be Quag. That's actually, like, best case scenario. And it's Boots. It is Boots. Draco is still free. He is going to withdraw. I could have roared again. But, yeah, I'd rather just... Okay, more damage on this is great. I will always take more damage on this. This could be a chance for me to set up with Armarouge. Maybe it's a little bit too obvious. I can also revenge with Hawlucha. I can also just keep this. Keeping this is also fine, because if you Parting Shots, you Parting Shots. The issue is that I don't really have a switch into it. Does Hawlucha need to keep his Scarf? Honestly, yes, it does. I think it's kind of vital that it does that. In case he Parting Shots, do I want to just go for a Roar? I think I do. Yeah. Just get a little bit more chip off on something on his team. If Heracross comes in here, then it gets roared straight back out again. So yeah, I will definitely take that. Hopefully we see, like... Heracross will be good. X0, that's the Petron, isn't it? Oh no, it's you. It's you. That's actually what we kind of wanted to roar into. So that's a little bit tough. Okay, well, that's not gone ideally, is it? And then the Petron comes in. I'll see how it is. Now do I want to... There's part of me that still wants to... Because I could go Raikou here. That's what I'm thinking. I could go Raikou and then... Trailblaze. But Raikou and Trailblaze, like his switch-ins to Trailblazer are getting weakened. Like his Nightshade is very free. It is very free here. Outside of Greedent, actually. You know what? I'm gonna go Greedent. I think he probably Nightshades. He might Parting Shot, but I think he Nightshades here, so it's worth probably getting this in. Okay, he just recovers. That is also fine. That's also fine. I can Curse here, right? He does still have the Quag. If he poisons me, then I got boosted Facades and I can beat the Quag. Cursing could be just a lost turn though. If I see Quag coming in, I could double back out into you. I'll go for a Curse, just for a turn. Malignant Chain, okay. So hopefully this doesn't do much. Not a great deal. Doesn't get the poison. And I expect at this point he probably doesn't want to put me in range of my Citrus, if I had to guess. Regardless, my play will be to Earthquake. He can go out into Quag, but we do want that damage off on Quag. We have the +1 defense, so we're actually pretty good against the Heracross if he goes into Heracross. But I don't think he would, just because of the terrors, yeah. I was going to say, Quag seems like the most likely switch in. And because of that, I just want to EQ. And then I'm going to go just hard into Duraludon, I think. Expecting him to want to set up a Hazard. He could just EQ as well. Or Earth Power or whatever. If we sack here, we sack here, but it does give me a chance to... He Encores. Okay, perfect. Actually perfect. Now it's a free Draco. This is probably best case scenario, just because now he doesn't have really anything that wants to switch into a Draco. He can go into Petrarant. I think if he goes Petrarant, then I am going to just double into Raikou. Chris Reed, that is Incineroar, so Incineroar I think goes down here. Yeah, okay, so Duraludon kills Incineroar. We still don't have anything to switch into the Heracross, so I think at this point I do just let this Mon go down. We can actually check how much damage did... Oh, it's Inteleon that comes in. This thing's terrifying. Quite frankly, this thing is terrifying. What do we have? We have Raikou that can come in afterwards, and I can Trailblaze. So I think this may be the turn. This may be the turn that I sack you off, because I don't have a switch in at all. I will roar in case he goes for like screens or something like that. Snipe shot, okay. So most likely he is Scope Lens, and if he is, then I hit him for that, but he didn't get the crit. I will just go into Raikou here and click Trailblaze. I think there's just no two ways about it. I am just going to go Raikou and get a big old chunk off. Big old chunk off, hopefully, on the incoming Quag. If you're Wakan, then you would stay in here. Okay, he does. Wow. Okay, well, still, we're going to outspeed. So, that does so much damage. Holy shit. He's going to know we're banded now. Like, there's no two ways about it. He knows we're banded now. I still want to keep this Mon around. If he gets the crit, that would suck. If he goes into Petrarant here, he takes rocks. I'm just going to Trailblaze again. Petrarant is likely to come in. I know I could have made the prediction expecting it to come in. Mr. Kid is actually the Heracross. Okay. Well, it's still going to do some good damage. It's so close to being a range here. So close. I don't know if it is or not. Raikou to a Heracross. Trailblaze 21 to 24. Oh, it's so close. It is so close to being a range. I don't think I even need to risk this, do I? I definitely can. How do I get rid of Quag if I don't have this Mon? Certainly wouldn't be easy. I want to say this kills, even if he's max HP. 17? I think this kills. I'm going to go for it again. Fuck. Oh, that's got to have lived on like 1 HP. That's tough. That's really tough. Oh, man. I shouldn't have risked that. I should not have risked it. Well, that's going to suck. Okay, so if he goes into Inteleon, I think no matter what... Okay, so I think I've just got to go into Hawlucha here. And we'll see whether or not Regieleki, because Regieleki looks terrifying now. Man, that must have been bulky ass fucking Heracross. Unless I'm missing something, it must be a bulky ass Heracross. Okay, you come in, you do take rocks. Okay, so this is max HP. If this is max HP, there is a chance to KO. And it just entirely depends on how fast he is. I don't need this Mon. I'm just going to click it. Like, there's a strong chance that he lives. Just because he was bulky on Heracross, he's probably bulky on this, or he is just faster. That is also a possibility, because he can just be quicker. Okay, so he's going to switch. Probably Petrun comes in. Victor Black. Yeah, that's the Petrun. This thing is going to be the bane of my existence now. Straight up. And I think we might just need Hawlucha to clean up. He can parting shot, but parting shotting into my Greedent doesn't help him. Malignant Chain. I guess one calc I've got to do is how much Armarouge will do to a Quag. It does 2-hit KO if it's physically defensive. So I think I go into Greedent and I'm just trying to get that chip. I think I'm almost in a position. If I can get rid of Petrun here, then I'm in a position to be able to possibly late game. He's going to crit. Is what it is. He does not get a poison again. Okay. This time I'm just going to Earthquake. I do want the damage on this. And this time he gets poisoned? Wow. He probably thinks I'm Covert Cloak at this point. And that took literally no damage. Okay, well you can just kill me here. Just do it. End me, please. Yeah, he can pick up the KO. I think I've now just got to go for Armarouge. There's no other game plan here that I think is going to work. It's got to be Armarouge. He's going to want to keep Petrun around, right? Like, he's got to want to keep Petrun around. The way I'm playing it makes it seem like it's like I'm set up, which of course I am. I'm going to Calm Mind. He can go Inteleon here. If he makes the aggressive Inteleon play, then that's just a really good... Okay, it's going to be Quag. Just a good read. Like, my water type is not relevant enough for him to be Water Absorb, so he is going to be unaware on this. He might be scared of Weakness Policy. Regardless, I am just going to click Psychic. And we're going to probably... Is this Spadef? It's not Spadef. Okay. Encore? Wait, Encore's fine. Encore's absolutely fine. Because nothing in the back is able to kill me. Or shouldn't be able to kill me. Inteleon may be in range of rocks, but I don't think it quite is. Real Riot, that is, yeah, going to be Inteleon. It is going to live. He outspeed, he snipe shots. I think I've got to go for the switch into Hawlucha and then U-turn. The health on this might be just too vital. He's going to snipe shot. We live. We can U-turn, and if he is scarfed, then we lose. But, okay, he's not. Amazing. Okay, so now it just comes down. Now it just comes down to Armarouge versus the world, essentially. There's a chance that Hawlucha can also win here, but it's less likely. It is much less likely. So this is going to be Regieleki. He's going to take a second round of rocks. Regieleki. Let's just see if it is dual screens. Psychic will not do anywhere near enough. But regardless, it is the play. He switches. Wait, it's Life Orb. So now it just depends on whether or not he has Choice Scarf. If he's Choice Scarf, if he's fast. Can I work out whether or not that was modest damage? It almost definitely was modest, right? Maybe he was scared of like Scorching Sands or something? I don't know. But this is going to do a lot. Yeah. And I just Psychic again. He's going to let me have this. So this literally does come down to whether or not I'm faster with Hawlucha. And I have Sped Crept a Scarfed Indeedee creep with my Regieleki. So this literally comes down to the end turn. Like literally is the last turn. Close combat 100% will knock it out from here. I've just got to go for a Psychic. He's Life Orb as well, so he'll just put himself even closer into range. I guess he doesn't know my item. But yeah, this is literally going to come down to whether or not he outspeeds me here. This has been a fucking great game. It really has. Come on, Hawlucha, are you faster? Are you faster? My hands are off the Joy-Cons. It's up to... It has extreme speed. It has extreme speed. That's a great bring. Oh, man. No. Oh, that was so close. Good game to Joey. Holy shit. That was so close. There's definitely... I could have preserved certain things in this game a bit better. But I'm not mad about how I played that. That's tough. Extreme speed was such a good bring. I mean, it's not the first time that extreme speed has messed me up. I think I was like 97. It was, yeah, not really arranged to ever live. If I was bulkier, maybe, but oh man. That was such a good endgame. Such a good endgame. GG's to Joey. We are going to go to 0-2, but week 1, I was not happy with how I played. Week 2, that was such a good game. That just came down to the absolute wire, depending on how much bulk I had. Unfortunately, we just didn't have quite enough bulk. The Life Orb, I think, is the actual game changer there. Yeah, the Life Orb was the thing that changed it. Life Orb, Extreme Speed, depending on his investment, was the only thing that could have stopped that. So... oh man, good game to Joey. If you did enjoy that battle, please do leave a like, subscribe so to miss out on the rest of the season. If that game's anything to go by, it's going to be a cracking season. So yeah, we moved to 0-2, -4. Not a great start, but at the same time, I think we can come back from this. The team is already looking good enough. And yeah, make sure to check out Joey's side of this battle. Until next one, have a great day, guys. Peace.